Zombie.
Is that your best zombie impression?
I eat Jose's brain. Hi,
Okay.
everyone. Welcome to Retronauts lunch break for January 31st, 2012. I am Jeremy Parish, and with me here,
Jose Otero.
and he's going to play Resident Evil 2, and I'm going to talk about why I don't like Resident Evil 2. I'm very sorry. I'm not Bob Mackey. I have no deep love or interest in the series. I'm not going to be a jerk about it, though, because that's not fun. Who wants to hear about someone complaining
You're not
about why they
going
don't
to
like
push your
the game?
anti-zombie agenda?
I might push my anti-zombie agenda, but I'm not going to be
Okay.
anti-Resident Evil. Instead, I would like for you to explain why this series is awesome to me as you play, because
Okay.
I played Resident Evil, I played a little bit of Resident Evil 2, and I didn't like either one, and I haven't touched the series since then. So jump in and tell me what's going on. We can skip the cinemas.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Or are they skippable?
They are skippable.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this is the DualShock version of Resident Evil 2 because RE2 did come out
Oh, is that
in the
Sephiroth?
days before DualShock. Oh, that guy over there?
Yeah, in the fire. He turns around and destroys Nibelheim.
Yeah, no, it's not that one winged
Oh,
angel. No.
disappointment.
All right, I'm going to run by a bunch of these guys because it helps to save ammo early at this point.
All right, so as we're playing Resident Evil 2, or sorry, Resident Evil
There you go.
2.
That's a lot better.
You guys can contact us on Twitter by tweeting to Retronauts, and we'll respond to your queries and and restate your comments and so on and so forth, because community matters for 1UP. So you're playing as the hippie biker chick?
Yes, this is Claire Redfield, Chris's sister from the first game.
I
She's
see.
stumbled into Raccoon City to find out what happened to her brother after the Spencer Mansion incident.
She's a human.
In the first game. She is a human. And this guy might be Canadian. He's like, sorry about that.
Capcom used a lot of Canadian voice actors in the PlayStation era.
Yeah.
If you play Mega Man Legends, Mega Man Volnut, the hero of those games, has a Canadian accent. And it comes through occasionally. You'll hear him say, like, a boot and stuff. It's like, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It's kind of cute.
So right here specifically, like, he's got a bow gun that if you don't stick around to
He's also got some serious back going on there. Look at that butt.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a bow gun.
Yeah, he's got a bow gun, and that varies depending on which single-player character you decide to go with, either Chris or Claire. Chris gets a shotgun.
What was the name of the scenario system?
Oh, not Chris,
in this?
Leon. Sorry. Whoa, Leon and Claire. Huh?
What was the name of the scenario system in this?
Oh, God, I don't remember. Crap.
Fully
Scenario
reactive
system.
eyes
Oh,
entertainment.
no. You're talking about Shenmue.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this is the zapping system.
That's
I
right,
think what you
zapping.
mean.
That's
yeah,
it,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And you zap the file at the end of your first playthrough to play the second character and see what they were doing. All right, so we're going to pick some...
It's a gun emporium and snack shop.
Yep, and he's getting eaten right now. So I'm going to grab bullets really quick.
So when does this take place in relation to the events of Resident Evil 1?
I want to say this is 1998.
No, I don't mean when the game came out. I mean story-wise.
Oh, not... Oh, man, that's a good question. I can't remember the specifics. Like,
We're talking
frame.
a matter of hours, days,
No,
weeks?
a couple of months even. Probably
okay.
a couple of months right after.
I see.
And this is one of everyone's favorite complaints, right? Lining up the shot. Luckily, this counter can keep them all away.
Right.
Yeah, it's got anti-zombie spray.
You're pretty good at that.
Down? Yeah, they're down.
I'm going to look at Twitter really fast.
Yeah. Well, we got comments? We got questions?
Yes, Ike Wagner wants to know, are you guys playing these on a legit disc or are these downloaded? I believe the answer is neither. Is that not correct?
This is a legit Resident Evil 2 copy, actually.
Oh, I thought you were playing the PSN version.
Yeah. No. I have been in my off time in getting ready for this, but and you can get Resident Evil 1, the director's cut, original 2 and 3 off of PSN right now, and you can play them on your PSP or your PS3. I find them a little better looking on your PSP. On your PS3, these graphics are going to show their age for the most part. So hang on, I'm going to just make sure I real quick. Combine bullets, because there was no button to reload back then.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Whoa, low times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I like these games a lot because the emphasis on survival and on knowing like when to fight, when to flee, kind of thing. I don't know. That always kept me on edge for the most part.
When to use a typewriter ribbon.
Yeah, although in this one, if you save a lot of ammo early on, it actually pays off. But there's also luck too. So you want to try and run by when you can. Obviously in this alley I can't because it's just too tight. I'm just going to get like chopped up by these guys.
He does not appreciate that.
Actually, helps more to just put them down and run by. Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa! Uh-oh,
you didn't run fast enough.
Ah.
Better run. Oh,
no, don't worry,
you
she
got
can
chomped.
push 2. Yeah, I got eaten. Run away. All right, there we go.
Great controls.
Yeah.
Always
hey, this is how it was.
I know. That's how it was. That's why I said no. It's kind of interesting how there are like certain aesthetics that carry across PlayStation games. Totally unrelated PlayStation games. I don't know. Maybe it was the sound libraries or something they use, visual libraries, but there's kind of like this consistent style.
Yeah, for sure.
This reminds me a lot of Parasite Eve. And like the menu screen is pretty much... there's something about it that's very reminiscent of Symphony of the Nights.
Yeah. Well, Parasite Eve connection is interesting because in 2 was trying to be more Resident Evil.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. That was to that game's detriment.
Ryan on Twitter wants to know, which version do you prefer, the PS1 or N64 version?
Oh, PS1.
God, I can't imagine the N64 version was any good. We're talking a 2-disc game compressed down to a cartridge.
Yeah, it was done.
I mean, it's a technical marvel, but is it good? Probably not.
Oh, she spits. We had a caller yesterday on Retronauts. Oh God, I'm trying not to die.
Oh yeah, this is where I stopped liking this game. Actually,
yeah. Where? Right at this part right
this
here.
alley.
Yeah.
I think Leon's scenario actually starts right outside of that, and the first place I went was into that alley, and I thought, oh, it's an adventure game. I should search the dumpster. So I went over to search the dumpster, and nothing was in there. And as I turned around, like all these zombies came up and came from off screen, because of the fixed camera angles. And I was completely trapped. I didn't have a weapon, and I was like, you know what? No game should start you off like this.
Yeah,
it angers me. It angers up my blood.
Yesterday we talked to someone on the call-in episode who actually really liked the N64 version, but admittedly that was the only one he had played at the time.
Christian Tarsinski says, does anybody find the fact that there was an N64 version odd?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Resident Evil 2 was almost on every platform you can think of at the time. They even squeezed one onto the game.com. Like, I'm just like, why would you even do that?
Actually, Resident Evil 2 did not make it to Saturn. The first one did.
The second one got canceled. Whoa. Haha.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, my deft dodging skills are coming back.
So canonically, where does this take place in relationship to Resident Evil 1.5?
I don't know. I'd love to see what happened at 1.5, or just more of some of the ideas that were in that game. They were going for really ambitious stuff, and then it was taking too long, and they decided to release Director's Cut, which wasn't really a Director's Cut because all the footage in it was still censored.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, and everyone was like, "What did you do, Capcom?"
Yeah, what happened? Yeah.
So,
all right, we're
I noticed Claire is holding her stomach. Does she have like stomach cramps?
Well, she's been bitten enough times. So in the first game,
they were biting her stomach.
In the first game when you got injured enough times, your character still walked around like nothing was wrong. They were right as rain, and you constantly had to check the menu screen to see the little EKG meter, see how it was going. So this one, that was one of the introductions in the second game. That hey, we'll show you like your character's not doing so well, so it's not a surprise when something comes out and bites you.
No, it's a good touch, a visual indication.
Yeah.
That statue in the middle of the police station, there's a reference to that in Final Fantasy IX.
Oh yeah.
There's in the city of Lindblom, there's a statue that looks very similar to that, and if you examine it, what's his name? Zidane says, "I don't see a place to put the jewel." And I hadn't played this at the time, and I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah,
like, is there a mini quest or something? But no, it's just a joke on Resident Evil.
Yeah, it is, actually. There's a oh man, what do you call it? Like a medallion that you put in, and that statue will drop a key that you use later on.
Let's see. Ike Wagner asks again, I see you're playing Claire, but do you prefer her to Leon?
Well, the way I played it through the zapping system, I enjoyed Claire to then Leon being the B-side. Because Leon against Mr. X, the kind of big tyrant monster that they unleash in the second half of the game, made more sense to me. But you could play it either way.
We lost contact with him over 10 days ago.
We can't skip this cutscene.
They lost contact with them over 10 days ago, so I guess this takes place about 2 weeks after Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Chris Adams says, to me, Lisa, Trevor is by far the scariest Resident Evil monster. Who do you guys think is the scariest monster?
Oh, man, the Nemesis, easily. That thing would show up in 3, and you'd have to run for your life through, like, multiple doors, too. He would follow you into the next room. And the music would always change as a cue to tell you, holy crap, like, are you going to stand and fight, or are you going to run away? And sort of, like, ideas from the Nemesis, I guess, carried over to 4 because the chainsaw guy was sort of that equivalent, this thing that can come out and kill you, but he wasn't nearly as intimidating, but he was really tough. And since then, each game has kind of had this one monster that you're just like, oh, man. But the Nemesis was the one that kind of set the tone and creeped everyone out the most. I think Mr. X was too quiet. It was almost too strange to have this very tall monster in a trench coat kind of walking down the hallways very slowly after you. Whereas the Nemesis would like straight out run.
I always thought the scariest Resident Evil monster was Shinji Mikami.
Why would you say that?
Thank you, I'll be here all night. I don't know.
Hey, he rescued. For some people, he rescued this series.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was going to say 4.
Anyway, let's see. Beth Lewick says, I wish there were more zombie encounters as the doors open rather than only one in RE2.
Okay.
So you open the door in one place and zombies attack you?
I believe in one part that happened. I can't remember that for
I don't know. That doesn't seem very fun since the doors are kind of like this compulsory limitation added to hide loading. That's kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of jerky.
Well, in the remake, if you open the front door to the mansion, we were talking about this yesterday, in the original game, a dog would kind of come in and you close the door on its head and it'd be like barking through the door like at you. In the remake, it would jump into the room and you'd have to like kill the dog. So, I mean, there are ways that they play around with that stuff. But yeah, it is a thing that doesn't seem very, very nice if you're going to have a zombie come through it and get you.
Did you find Matthew J says? Did you find the RE games genuinely scary?
I mean, I used to play these games like late at night, so I'd be on edge. I don't know if genuinely scary is the thing I'd say, but you definitely hang anxiety, and you'd be like, oh man, do I have enough bullets to sort of tackle this next thing and survive long enough? Because that was one thing too. Your resources were always so limited. Why do the girls in all of these games always masters of lock picking?
I guess because girls are sneaky.
Yeah.
They have the key to your heart, Jose.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so I'm going to use this thing.
Watching someone else play these games is always a lot more fun than actually playing them.
Yeah.
Like, when I play them, I just have a miserable time. But watching them, I'm like, oh, this seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, a gentleman called in
yesterday. I should play this, and then I play it, and then I hate it.
On Retronauts, and he said the same thing, where he was like, we used to play Resident Evil by committee almost. Like, there would be 4 guys, and we'd be all yelling at each other, like, don't do that, don't run in there. But it sounded like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, when whoa, I just blanked out. What was I going to say? I have no idea.
Are you that uninterested in Resident Evil? What do you say?
No, I think a zombie ate my brain.
I like
no,
that.
I was going to say Half-Life games are kind of like that for me. Like I cannot stand playing Half-Life games, but when I think back on them, I'm like, oh, Half-Life's so good.
Yeah,
and I played them again, and it's so stupid.
Yeah.
So weird. Shane Turk says, I actually liked the N64 version of RE2. Which RE game of the PS1 era was your fave?
2. Definitely 2. Yeah, I like that the 2-character storyline thing was made relevant. I liked the zapping system was cool.
So why is it better than Nemesis? Because you talked about how scary the Nemesis is.
Nemesis had me on edge, but I don't know. I enjoyed 2's story a lot more. 3 was kind of retreading familiar ground. And you kind of, so you're in the city again. I don't know. Something about that kind of wore off on me a little bit. I didn't want to be there again. I wanted to be somewhere new.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So why did you switch to the bowgun?
Because a licker is about to be introduced. This was one of the new enemies.
Oh, it's such a bad guy that you have to get an FMV for it.
Yes. Well, actually, I guess... Because in the first game, the first zombie you see has an FMV. She doesn't even have her bowgun in her hands, but yeah, here's the FMV with the drool, and he drops.
She looks pretty freaked out by the way she kind of casually strides up to it.
Okay, it's dead. That didn't take much. You can run away from it too, but I usually just plug it with the. Oh wait, how much ammo does this thing have? All right, I'm doing okay. Let's get this herb right here. It's funny to play this one again though, because 3 had a lot of cool control like implementations. Like the quick turn was in 3. Walking up the stairs without having to press a button in front of the stairs was in 3. Sidestepping zombies was in 3.
Gameplay wise, how did this improve on the first one? Besides, the macro things of like having 2 different characters and the interlocked scenarios.
Yeah, I don't think it did. I think it just kind of blew up into a bigger scenario. I'm not entirely sure that it improved that much on the first game. I mean, they're still backtracking. They're still, kind of trying to solve these obscure puzzles. Bob mentioned, though, that in this one, so this is more his point, that he noticed they instead of they would call something like a crowbar a manhole cover as a way to hint to you, hey, you're going to use this to open the manhole later. So there were little like subtle like translation changes or just hints within the text that in the first game were not there. He was like, I'm not an idiot. He took that offensively, though. He was like, this game is talking to me like I'm
Bob takes offense at strange things in games, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Dante Grazioli asks, the Resident Evil series has changed, so it is less survival, scare, and more killing. Do you think RE6 will try to go back to the old style?
The trailer seems like it's trying to do both. At least on the Leon portion of the trailer, it looked like sort of a spooky place.
You think they're going to have it both ways with the different characters? They're going to use the scenarios split to
I think they could
to do different styles of game. That would actually be an interesting approach.
Yeah, that would be an interesting approach.
It would be interesting if it were kind of like RE2, where each character has their own discrete scenario. You don't have to like switch between them throughout the game, and like one character is one style of play, the other character is a different style. That would be pretty smart, actually. That way, you know, people could have the Resident Evil they want, and there would be twice as much game. I don't know. That sounds like creating a lot of content for this monitor. Yeah, that was silly of you.
Right,
Climb those dang stairs.
Right. I want to kill these things because I think there are 2 herbs down that way.
Backed yourself into a corner, son.
Yeah, I have now. Stand and fight. So yeah, no, I think that would be an interesting approach. Having played Revelations, I think they definitely understand. At least Revelation shows that they understand like how important a creepy setting is. But at the same time, you know, Revelations has you constantly with a partner who can be really annoying because they don't really do much to help you, and it just kind of makes them really irrelevant. It's just like, why are you here? You know, you're not doing anything to kind of help this mission continue along, or you're not very good at doing what you're supposed to be doing to help this mission go along. She's still coming?
She is. I guess that tank top is pretty good armor.
And she's down.
Right, you're not going to take the herb?
Save room there. Nah, I already have another one in my inventory. I didn't realize I even had it.
Don't want to be greedy.
Yeah, I would have went up the stairs had I realized I had one, so you were right. Yeah. Hindsight.
Well, we're getting kind of toward the end. Is there anything people need to know about this amazing game before we call it a day?
I think if you can stomach playing through, first of all, if you were introduced to the series with 4 and 5 and you want to go back to check these out, you can. But just be ready to be dealing with much different controller implementations. I mean, if you're into retro stuff, I'm sure you'll have the right attitude for it. But the zapping system was really cool, and the way the storylines kind of crossed over. Not a lot of it made sense, I mean, because a lot of puzzles would be reset. You know, puzzles you'd solve the first time with one character would also be reset for the second time.
Were the characters supposed to both exist in the timeline, or were they kind of meant to be mutually exclusive?
No, they cross paths, and you find out what Leon was doing right before you cross paths with him upstairs, you know, things like that. And you find out the whole time he was being chased by this really big, scary stalker kind of guy, Mr. X, who he does not mention, by the way. So narratively, there were some gaps, but it was still really cool to see, hey, what's the B-side of this story? What's going on there?
I'm trying to think. Had there actually been games that made an attempt to create that kind of like dual scenario ever before? Maybe
during the PlayStation days, or
maybe some of the like older adventure games, like Maniac Mansion, kind of had that. Yeah. Not really. It was basically you could play as different characters.
Yeah, something like that in an action game was very cool. And that's, well, in a survival sort of horror game, I guess, but I consider it an action game as well. I mean...
Oh, that's so video game-ish.
Yeah, these crate pushing puzzles. This was one of the things I'm glad Resident Evil got over.
All right, so final thoughts on Resident Evil 2 before we call it a day.
I think still awesome, but maybe I'm in the minority. I hope people would take the time to appreciate it, but I guess user beware.
All right then. In that case, I guess with that we're going to call it a day and bring Resident Evil 2 to a close. Tomorrow, Resident Evil 3, is that correct?
Yes, tomorrow's RE3, and then Thursday is Mikami's reboot, I guess, of the series with RE4.
All right.
So it should be interesting.
Well, thanks everyone for watching and listening, and join us again tomorrow for more exciting times in, Raccoon City? Where the heck were they?
Yeah, Raccoon City for the most part.
We'll be back in Raccoon City again tomorrow, shooting zombies and running away from a big dude with a tentacle on his head. Farewell. This is Jeremy Parish.
And this is Jose Otero.
Yes, and we're saying goodbye.
That was my chance to say goodbye. Bye.